The biggest mistake I see is that people act too quickly. They start spending, investing, or giving money away, and they really don't know. Oftentimes, they make emotional decisions that can lead to really big problems long term. Family and friends are going to come out of the woodwork, and you're not even going to know some of them that you have. You may even get love interests. I have seen so many people who get money, and all of a sudden they have all these men wanting to take them out, and they never had dates before. You got to be super careful, and you got to protect your money. Welcome to the Millionaire Insider Podcast, formerly the Wealth Inside Out Podcast, where we help you create a confident, secure retirement and life you love. I'm Annette Bau, certified financial planner and founder of the Millionaire Insider. For over 36 years, I have helped pre-retirees and retirees turn their paychecks into guaranteed income, reduce unnecessary risk, protect their legacy, and design a retirement filled with purpose and freedom. Because true wealth isn't just about money, it's about confidence, clarity, and control over your future. Today's free resource is our 5-question assessment. You can go to themillionaireinsider.com/5Q. If you have over $500,000 in investable assets or are making over $200,000 of income, you can take our 5Q assessment to determine your next best step. Again, themillionaireinsider.com/5Q. If that's not you, we've created the Money, Confidence, and Clarity Masterclass for you. And you can go to themillionaireinsider.com/MCC. This class is going to help you get clarity and create confidence so you can better manage your money and achieve your financial and life goals. Again, themillionaireinsider.com/MCC. For today's show notes, you can go to themillionaireinsider.com/160. The Millionaire Insider copyrights all materials and intellectual property. This information is for educational purposes only. It is not intended to replace any advisor or specialist or to provide any investment, financial, tax, retirement planning, or healthcare advice. By accessing this content, you agree to hold the Millionaire Insider and its affiliates harms for results achieved or not achieved. So let's dive into managing sudden wealth, 5 steps to protect your future and avoid costly mistakes. Managing sudden wealth can feel so exciting and life-changing, but it can also feel overwhelming and stressful. Whether you're receiving money from an inheritance, a sale of a business, or a large financial payout, what you do as far as the next step can shape your financial future for decades, or it can ruin it. And unfortunately, too many people, it does ruin it, meaning like literally 95% of people that get lump sum monies are broke within 5 years. One of the law firms that speaks a lot at our professional organization shared they did massive research, and they found that over 90% of people that inherited money were broke within 3 years. It's just the numbers are crazy. So don't let that be you. And that's why we're talking about this today, because I've dealt with so many people who've gotten windfalls, whether they've sold their business, they've gotten a lump sum, they've inherited money, whatever it may be. And so I've got some insight on this. And today we're going to talk about how you can manage sudden wealth with clarity and confidence so you can protect what you've built or what you have received and avoid so many of the common mistakes. And creating a plan that supports your life and retirement is the key. When you have a plan, you're going to worry less and you're going to gain the freedom to live life on your terms. So the first one is to build a comprehensive financial plan. That is the first step. Now, if you read, the vast majority of people are going to tell you to just wait, just pause before you make any decisions. I don't agree with that. And I'll tell you why I don't agree with that. I think creating a plan is the most important thing you can do before making any decisions. And creating a plan is going to take time. So it's going to automatically pause any major decisions. But it's also going to help you get clear on your priorities so that your actions align with your goals. And it's also going to help you clarify all aspects of your strategy. When people just pause and don't have any direction in what they're doing, I find a lot of times they end up making decisions that are just not ideal, and they're not based on what they want to achieve in their bigger picture plan. When you receive a lump sum and you don't have a plan, what you find a lot of times happens is that money disappears faster than expected. A financial plan is a roadmap. It's going to address spending, investing, taxes, insurance, and estate planning. And when you align your wealth with long term goals, retirement income, lifestyle, legacy, it's the perfect formula. That's where you're able to really determine how much you can spend and be secure, meaning where you're not risking it, and still do the things you want to do, like help the charities you want to help your children, help loved ones, but you're doing it from a position where you know the facts and you're not guessing and you're not hoping. It just changes everything. And it's going to keep you out of that 90 to 95% club that ends up broke. That's probably the most important thing. The vast majority of people who get a lump sum and end up broke have no experience managing money. They get a windfall and they think it's never going to end. And unfortunately, they end up broke. Literally, my daughter knows a woman who won the lottery twice, and she is living in a trailer with her mom. You can't make this stuff up. It's just unbelievable. So let's discuss some of the things that happen when somebody makes decisions without a plan or really kind of a pause. But the pause is to create the plan before you make major decisions. The biggest mistake I see is that people act too quickly. They start spending, investing, or giving money away, and they really don't know. Oftentimes, they make emotional decisions that can lead to really big problems long term. Family and friends are going to come out of the woodwork. And you're not even going to know some of them that you have. You may even get love interests. I have seen so many people who get money and all of a sudden they have all these men wanting to take them out and they never had dates before. You got to be super careful and you got to protect your money so that even if you're with somebody, they are not becoming a silent partner. They're not with you just for your money. This one kind of ties into number 2, but oftentimes what I've seen is that most times you have well-meaning family or friends that are trying to give you advice, but they have no experience. And they try to get you to believe they are experts. And oftentimes they're just not qualified. I really encourage you, if you're getting a windfall, to make sure that the person you are consulting with is a fiduciary and that they are qualified. The results are disastrous when you're taking advice from somebody who really doesn't know. Yes, give yourself time. This is a life-changing moment. You don't want to rush it, but you do want to take the time to create that plan. Put your funds in a safe, liquid account while you evaluate your next steps. The best decisions come from a place of clarity, not panic or urgency. A solid plan can turn sudden wealth into lasting financial security and clarity. It is priceless. All right, number 2, be selective about who you take advice from. Sudden wealth often attracts opinions from family, friends, and even acquaintances. Well-meaning advice can be harmful if it's not grounded in experience or expertise. You want to avoid taking financial direction from any unqualified individual, even if you trust them personally. Be cautious of hiring an advisor who doesn't demonstrate financial success, meaning if they haven't been successful or they haven't managed a lump sum amount of money for themselves, I would really look at that. Now, granted, maybe they've managed it for other people, but if they can't manage it for themselves or they haven't accumulated enough money to be able to understand how to manage it, it's something you want to look at. Ideally, you want a disciplined approach in who you're choosing and the choices you're making. You want to look for professionals who create a comprehensive plan and charge you for it, not somebody who's focused on selling you a product. The quality of the advice you get is going to directly impact the outcome of your wealth and your life. So you got to choose really wisely. All right, number 3, you want to create and understand the tax impact before you act. Different types of wealth come with different tax consequences, be it inheritance, investments, business sales, etc. You've got to understand that. Or really, you don't have to understand that. You got to have an advisor that understands that. Poor tax planning can significantly reduce your wealth and cost you tens of thousands of dollars, even hundreds of thousands of dollars. Strategies may include tax efficient withdrawals, charitable planning, or structured income. You want to work with a professional to coordinate your tax and investment decisions. It's not just what you receive, it's what you keep. Got to remember that. And your tax planning is instrumental in that process. All right, number 4, create a strategy for income, not just growth. So many people focus on investing their money for growth, but they overlook income planning. And I think it's because most advisors aren't really good at income planning. They really don't know what to do. They're just still focused on growth, even when a person's in retirement. It's like, what? If you have enough money, your focus should be generating income and focusing in on income planning along with tax planning. Now, if you don't have enough money for your needs, then you got to look at that and you got to figure out what percentage is going to be in guaranteed income and what percentage is going to be in growth. The goal is to create reliable, sustainable income for your life. And you might have to do that in layers, but you want to make sure you got that plan. Consider guaranteed income strategies to replace or supplement your paycheck. This is especially critical if you plan to retire with your windfall. So if you're planning on using the money you're getting to retire, then you've got to figure out how you're going to create a paycheck so you have that certainty of income. Wealth alone doesn't create security. Income does, especially guaranteed income. So make that a priority. All right, number 5, you want to protect your wealth and set boundaries. Sudden wealth often brings increased requests from family, friends, opportunities that may not align with your goals. I kid you not. I was a waitress in college and very successful waitress, I might add. I mean, I made more money in college than I did my first year as a financial advisor. I got such great tips because I listened to people. It was funny. They would just tell me all these things. And I had so many job offers of working with people when I got out. It was really interesting. But one particular situation, this gentleman was not asking me for my advice, but he was telling us what he was going to do. He had inherited like $100 million. And he was talking about investing, I kid you not, like in pork options in like South Africa. And I was like, what? Now, this was what was so weird about the whole setup is I was just sitting here listening to this going, this is crazy. So I'm transitioning out of, I graduated, I'm transitioning out of my job, and I meet one of the advisors of this guy who knew this woman that we partnered on some cases with each other. And I said, this is insane that this guy is doing this. And I didn't even know anything. I had my degree in finance, but I wasn't by no stretch an expert. Oh my God, that guy got so mad. He said, you better tell your partner not to say anything. And I'm like, if I get a chance, I'm going to definitely say something. Well, guess what? I never got a chance, but sure enough, he lost all the money that he invested in that. I mean, I could have told him that. Problem was, he just didn't know what he was doing, and he did not have somebody that really was qualified. It was just so unfortunate. And the last I heard, he had blown through so much of his money, and it's just tragic. But without clear boundaries, wealth can be eroded quickly. And you've got to make sure that you're reviewing everything from insurance, estate plans, as well as asset protection strategies, because there are a lot of factors that go in. It's not just the money, it's the other elements of your life. And you just got to make sure that you've got a strategy so that you're protected and your family, your loved ones, the people you want to protect are also protected. You want to be thoughtful and intentional about gifting and helping others. And you've got to have a plan first to make sure you can afford to. It's just amazing how many people start giving money, not even knowing, not having a plan, getting advice from somebody who's really not qualified. Protecting your wealth allows you to use it in ways that matter most to you, and it allows you to help people that are important to you. And if you don't do it right, it's a disaster. So you got to make sure you do. All right, let's recap here. So number 1, you've got to build a comprehensive plan first. Be selective about who you take advice from. 3, create and understand taxes before you act. 4, create a strategy for income, not just growth, and maybe no growth. I mean, depends, but if you have so much money that you don't need it, maybe not, or maybe a very small percentage. Again, that's something that you got to be working with a qualified advisor on. And then number 5, protect your wealth and set boundaries. Managing sudden wealth is not just about money. It's about creating a life where you feel secure, confident, and in control of your future. When you take the time to pause, build a plan, and surround yourself with the right guidance, sudden wealth becomes a powerful opportunity, not a source of stress or overwhelm. You can do this. And with the right plan in place, you can turn this moment into a game changer for your retirement and your life. So I want to give you a couple of tips. Number 1, work to elevate your worth barometer, your belief in self-esteem every single day. You can go to themillionaireinsider.com/3 to get more insight on the worth barometer. When you have a healthy worth barometer, you make better decisions. Decisions come from a place of confidence and clarity versus fear and overwhelm. A healthy worth barometer is going to allow you to identify the emotion you want to feel once you get the money. My friend, that is critical. Most people want security, peace of mind, or financial confidence. So I encourage you to start immediately working to identify when you feel the emotion you want to create. This is one step that's going to help you improve your ability to tap into that feeling when you get the money. And in turn, it's going to dramatically improve your odds of experiencing the emotion you want once you get it. See, the problem with most people who become multimillionaires, and I can share it from my own situation, is the fact that, we think it's going to help us feel more secure or give us more peace of mind. But if we don't work on those skills before, once we get the money, nothing changes. Too often people who achieve their financial goals or dreams live a life in quiet desperation and never achieve their true goals, the underlying goal of why they want that financial goal. They've never taken the time to develop the clarity and the emotion. And as a result, they ultimately do not enjoy their life once the money arrives. And too often they live that life that they don't really want. Achieving your financial goal is a lot like the anticipation of Christmas or Hanukkah, whatever you celebrate, or even a dream vacation. You think it's going to be great, and then you get there, and it's almost like the anticipation was so much better. Without the right mental state, the anticipation is almost always better than the actual destination when it comes to money. So be aware of that. I believe that once I was a millionaire, my life would be perfect. I thought the only thing missing in my life was money. And it took several million to realize the importance of my mental health and the goal I wanted to achieve. I wanted security, peace of mind, and confidence in my ability to manage my money and create my dream life. And it was literally multi-million-dollar net worth when I really realized that another $1 million was not going to solve my issue, or it was not going to help me feel more secure. It was not going to give me more financial peace. And my friend, that changed everything because I was able to do the work required. And that's why I have an amazing life today. And even when challenges occur, many of you know my mother passed away, and it's very challenging. It's very sad. But because I've done so much inner work, I'm at such a calmer place than I would have been had I not done the work. And a lot of the work I did was just to be able to have those emotions that I wanted to experience in my life. I really encourage you to do that work. Now, if you want a quick assessment of your retirement readiness, you can take our quiz at themillionaireinsider.com/RRQ. The retirement readiness quiz just is going to give you some clarity on if you're on track, or more importantly, what you need to do to get on track. And you can access it at themillionaireinsider.com/RRQ. If you need help managing your money or sudden wealth, you can go to themillionaireinsider.com/support. I want to thank you so much for joining me today, and I look so forward to connecting with you on our next podcast. I'm Annette Ba'u. All international copyrights are reserved. Bye for now.